Recording Satsang session on 19th May 1983. Continuing Savitri, Book 2, Canto 2.
The poet is describing existence in the higher worlds, a finer substance in a subtler mold embodies the divinity earth but dreams. The substance that obtains in those worlds is finer than the gross substance of our matter. And this substance takes a subtler mold than the material mold of our earth. And that is why it can embody with facility the divinity which earth dreams but cannot yet, by reason of its grossness, materiality. It can only dream but not embody. Further, its strength can overtake joy's running feet. In our world, joys are fleeting. They don't stay with us, they escape. But they can't escape in the higher worlds because there is such strength that it can overleap and possess joy which seeks to run. Overcoming the fixed hurdles set by time. In our world, time keeps certain limits. That was the past, this is the present, and this is the future. You can't jump from the past to the future without passing through the present, nor from the present to the future immediately. There is a process that has to be gone through. But they don't have these fixed hurdles set by time. The rigid net of an intuitive clasp captures the fugitive happiness we desire. Our happiness, as we noted, is very fugitive, transient. It always escapes our hold, but still we desire to possess it. But there, the grasp is not mental, not calculated according to reasoning, but it is an intuitive and a sure grasp. It is so rapid that the fugitive happiness cannot escape, and it is captured by the intuitive clasp. A nature lifted by a larger breath, a breath larger than the breath that touches earthly nature, plastic and passive to the all-shaping fire. God is conceived as a smith, as a master smith, who molds things, who casts things in a fire that shapes everything. And to that shaping fire, this nature is plastic and passive. Unlike our nature, which is resistant and which is irresponsive. And such a nature answers the flaming Godhead's casual touch. Even a casual touch by God evokes a response from nature. Here, God has to deliberately put pressure to enliven and evoke a response. Immune from our inertia of response, it hears the word to which our ears are deaf, that nature does not have this handicap of inertia in response. So it is able to hear the potent word, the mantra, to which our ears are deaf. Our ears are filled with all noises, earthly noises of our small cares and anxieties. But there, the ears are attentive to the word that knows, to the word that is potent. And traveler on the road of line and hue, nature, traveling on the road of line and hue, that is, the designs of art, even nature pursues the patterns and the designs of line and color of the supreme artist, and walking on those roads, it pursues the spirit of beauty to its home. There is a spirit of beauty abroad in creation, and this plastic nature lifted by a higher breath, it follows the spirit of beauty to its home, to its acme, to its climax. Then the poet comes back to our earth scene and says, thus we draw near to the all-wonderful. It is in the measure in which we reflect that higher nature, follow the steps of the finer nature, that we also draw near to the all-wonderful. And what do we do on the way? Following his rapture in things as sign and guide. Wherever there is rapture, wherever there is joy, intense joy, he says that is a sign, and that is a guide that the Lord of beauty is there. It may appear to us that the rapture and the joy are due to smaller causes, but the fact that those vibrations are there is a sure indication that He, the wonderful, is there, and that shows the direction in which we have to proceed. And he says, this is a famous line, beauty is his footprint showing where he has passed. As the wonderful God, Lord, passes, he always is in the move, he is not stationary. The creative Godhead is always in the move. And he says, wherever he goes, wherever you see beauty, you can be sure that he has gone that way. And every bit of beauty is really a footprint of God. This is the line. It can be a theme for an artist. Beauty is his footprint, showing where he has passed. It may be beauty in a flower, beauty in the sky, beauty in the ocean, beauty of a woman, beauty of a man, beauty of a lion, wherever. There are various types of beauty, and wherever there is impressions, footprints. And not only beauty, he speaks of rapture, he speaks of beauty, and then love is his heartbeat's rhythm in mortal breasts. Wherever you find love, any kind of love, maybe a mother's love for a child, or a man's love for his woman, whatever it is. Wherever there is love, be sure that it is the rhythm of his heartbeat. At our level, it reflects itself as human love. But the origin of love is divine. And that is why he says, it is the heartbeat's rhythm in mortal breasts. In celestial breasts, that love is maybe different. But on earth, it is the mortal nature. And happiness, the smile on his adorable face, wherever there is happiness, it is really a smile on his adorable face. The wonderful, the God of beauty, the God of delight, he has always a smile on his face. And that smile, he gets reflected as happiness. Wherever you see happiness, it may be a laborer, it may be a very common man, completely foreign to all finer sentiments. But when he is happy, there is a divine atmosphere. One is always linked to the heights of God when one sees that innocent happiness. So he says, happiness, the smile on his adorable face. It's a very touching experience that he puts it in so few words. It could be his own face. And then, next sentence, a communion of spiritual entities in all this creation. There is always going on a continuous interchange, a continuous communion between spiritual entities whom we may not see, we may not feel, we may not cognize, but they are there, and there is a constant communion. That thing and a genius of creative immanence. Immanence is God who is indwelling everything in creation. As we noted, God is not there alone. He is here, and He is here in every form and every moment. And that is called the immanent God. But this immanence is not a static immanence. It is a creative. But the very fact that the divinity is there, it gives room to many consequent moments. And the genius of creative inspiration, the dynamic inspiration of this immanent God, makes all creation deeply intimate. Division, separation is only on the surface. Within, due to this immanent divinity acting dynamically and the constant communion of spiritual entities, all creation is deeply intimate. Elsewhere, he writes, I think we did that portion, a subtle link joins all life. Not physical link, but a subtle link. And then he says, a fourth dimension of aesthetic sense, where all is in ourselves and ourselves in all. There is a good deal of controversy on what is the fourth dimension. We noted in one of our earlier talks how the three dimensions are well known. Three dimensions of our physical world are well known: height, breadth, and depth, right? Length, height, length, breadth, and height and depth. These three are the recognized dimensions. And what is the fourth dimension? Sri Aurobindo says it is the aesthetic sense. Now that aesthetic sense, it does not mean aesthesis in the as commonly understood art. It is the spiritual, what Mother describes as the inner dimension. where all is in ourselves and ourselves in all. That perspective, that inner experience of feeling the entire universe within ourselves and ourselves pervading all. Now that sense is the fourth dimension. Mother speaks of 12 dimensions, though she has not deliberately specified them. She said people have to find them out. But broadly you can say the fourth dimension is the spiritual dimension, where the physical barriers no longer hold good. World within us and ourselves in each moment of each form of the world. Now this dimension, where all is in ourselves and ourselves in all, to the cosmic wideness realigns our souls. Our souls as they are have been alienated from the world. We are walled in by our ego, live separately from everybody. But once we discover this fourth dimension of the spiritual in-look, then our souls are realigned to the cosmic wideness. We become one with the wide cosmos. And then a kindling rapture joins the seer and the seen. Now the seer is different and the seen is different. But when we enter into this dimension, there is a rapture. Each time the seer comes into contact with the seen, there is a kindling rapture. That forms a bridge, and the seer becomes one with the seen. The craftsman and the craft grows inly one, the artist and his art. The craftsman, one who creates things, who knows the skill, the craft, and the craft, that art, they become inly one, not from outside, and achieve perfection. That craftsman achieves perfection by the magic throb and passion of their close identity. The seer and the seen, the craftsman and the craft, they achieve perfection by that single throb and the passion of close identity. So identity is the key. That is why Sri Aurobindo says that of all the types of knowledge, knowledge by identity is the highest and the most intimate. All that we, and in this context of spiritual dimension, all that we slowly piece from gathered parts, our mind picks up things, assembles them together and wants to make a whole, he says. All that we slowly piece from gathered parts, or by long labor stumblingly evolve, is there self-born by its eternal right. You discover that this is a needless labor. It is there in its own right for eternity. This applies to the spiritual dimension, which is very natural in the higher worlds. And here too, when that dimension is active, we can have that experience. But normally, he says, in us too, the intuitive fire can burn. That fire of intuition, which holds, clasps at the first instance, that too can burn. An agent light, it is coiled in our folded heart. It is there in our hearts, folded. And as an agent, what is here is not the original fire, but a projection an agent of the fire there. An agent light, it is coiled in our folded hearts. On the celestial levels is its home. Here it is a visitor, an agent with a mission. But its home, Swayam Dhama, is there. Descending this light, this intuitive fire, descending, it can bring those heavens here. Because its home is there, when it comes, it can bring its homely atmosphere and create that heaven here for a while. But he says, but rarely burns the flame, not burns for long. Very rarely does this intuitive fire burn in us, and if it burns but briefly. The joy it calls from those diviner heights brings brief, magnificent reminiscences. The joy that comes from there, it revives certain memories. It throws open the doors of reminiscences. And the high, splendid glimpses of interpreting thought. Our thought is a dissecting thought, cutting up, limiting. But there, whatever thought is there, it interprets the truth. So we get splendid glimpses of interpreting thought, magnificent reminiscences, but not even with all that it can bring, not the utter vision and delight. That pure, unwalled vision and that intense delight, it can't be brought here. A veil is kept. Something is still held back, lest otherwise, captives of the beauty and the joy, if we get glimpses of that beauty, of that experience, of that joy, our souls forget to the highest to aspire. We will be lost. We will be completely immersed in this celestial beauty and joy and forget to aspire to reach the highest. That is why a veil is kept back. You are not allowed to participate in the highest vision and delight. Otherwise, small creatures that we are, we will be content to stay where we are, enjoying those things. But he says, no, there is a design of providence so that we can aspire. Not having got those things, we aspire for them. Because they are associated with the highest divine, we aspire for that divinity. And we evolve and we progress. A finer substance in a subtler mold embodies the divinity earth but dreams. Its strength can overtake joy's running feet, overcoming the fixed hurdles set by time. The rigid net of an intuitive clasp captures the fugitive happiness we desire. A nature lifted by a larger breath, plastic and passive to the all-shaping fire, answers the flaming Godhead's casual touch. Immune from our inertia of response, it hears the word to which our ears are deaf, adopts the seeing of immortal eyes, and traveler on the roads of line and hue pursues the spirit of beauty to its home. Thus we draw near to the all-wonderful, following his rapture in things as sign and guide. Beauty is his footprint, showing where he has passed. Love is his heartbeat's rhythm in mortal breasts. Happiness, the smile on his adorable face. A communion of spiritual entities, a genius of creative immanence, makes all creation deeply intimate. A fourth dimension of aesthetic sense, where all is in ourselves, ourselves in all, to the cosmic wideness, realigns our souls. A kindling rapture joins the seer and the seen, the craftsman and the craft, grown inly one, achieve perfection by the magic throb and passion of their close identity. All that we slowly piece from gathered parts, or by long labor stumblingly evolve, is there self-born by its eternal right. In us too the intuitive fire can burn. An agent light, it is coiled in our folded hearts. On the celestial levels is its home. Descending, it can bring those heavens here, but rarely burns the flame, nor burns for long. The joy it calls from those diviner heights brings brief, magnificent reminiscences and high, splendid glimpses of interpreting thought, but not the utter vision and delight. A veil is kept, something is still held back, lest, captives of the beauty and the joy, our souls forget to the highest to aspire. A few days ago, a friend brought to me a set of cassettes of a remarkable music drama called Sitayam, Story of Sita. In that, a particular portion moved me very much, and I thought we could share it with you all just before our meditation.